Andrea, it's shameful. I mean, for the United States to be race baiting and to be a virus which never has a flag, can't have a flag, as being the provenance of one country, is designed to be divisive. It's designed to stigmatize people of Asian descent.
Disinformation is coming from random actors around the world, but often too coming from places like the Chinese Communist Party, from Russia, from Iran. Those are nations that want to undermine what we're doing here, our democracy, our freedom, the way that we're responding to this risk, to the Wuhan virus.
And in a press conference following the G7 video meeting, Pompeo referred to the COVID-19 as the Wuhan virus again. The Chinese Foreign Ministry condemned his words and urged the U.S. to stop scapegoating China.
The State Department summoned China's top diplomat to the United States as U.S. officials accuse the Chinese government of spreading conspiracy theories about the coronavirus.
China is working behind the scenes to downplay the coronavirus outbreak, even going so far to falsely accuse the United States for starting it. This tweet from a Chinese government spokesperson claiming that the U.S. Army brought the virus to Wuhan. Amid a global pandemic, why the blame game?
Well, I think the Chinese are working very hard for two reasons. One is to basically make sure that China isn't blamed for this global pandemic, to present itself as a responsible player. And this also has a domestic component, right? If the Chinese government says it was the Americans that started it, this is a message that will go over the Chinese government hopes well at home to basically say, look, if there were any problems, it wasn't our fault. It was the Americans who spread the disease to us.
This morning, Ambassador Wei Tiankai refused to answer questions from us as he left State Department headquarters. Officials here say they objected to what they say is China's blatant global disinformation campaign on the coronavirus. American officials have pointed to this tweet from a spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying, quote, "It might be U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent. Make public your data. U.S. owe us an explanation." There's no evidence U.S. soldiers visiting Wuhan in October carried the virus. A senior State Department official says China is trying to deflect criticism for hiding information about the coronavirus.
I think that the Chinese are driven by a couple of things. One is that they clearly are able to influence a number of international organizations. Notice how long it took the World Health Organization, for example, to finally declare a pandemic. Second of all is that they do have significant portions of the American pharmaceutical supply chain, and I suspect that this is also an implicit threat against the United States to say, look, if you tick us off enough, we have the ability to turn off things like ibuprofen and precursor chemicals for penicillin.
Supermarkets and pharmacies there are reopening for the first time since the city was shut down in late January. Now that the number of new people infected with the coronavirus in China is slowing, the country's Communist Party is ratcheting up threats against the West with a particularly nasty warning about access to life-saving drugs aimed at the United States.
This pandemic came out of China. In fact, the outbreak may have begun not in a public meat market, but in a poorly run Chinese laboratory. Now, that's not our theory. Anyone who raises that theory on American television is attacked as a conspiracy monger. But this is a theory from a now censored Chinese paper. A draft paper posted in mid-February, scientists at the South China University of Technology suggested that the coronavirus outbreak began at the Wuhan Center for Disease Control, where an animal may have infected a researcher. Now, we have no idea if that's actually true. But again, those were Chinese researchers making an evidence-based argument about the origin of this virus. That paper has since been taken down. No explanation has been offered for that, though you can guess.